keeping the golden goose laying them eggs, looking after it.
Don't take any risks.
Thing is, with Anthony Joshua, he's Olympic gold medalist, and in the UK, he's a massive star. He sells out stadiums, 70,000, 90,000.
Yeah. Huge star.
Huge star.
The reason I say it's a win-win for Jake Paul is because, listen, if he wins, then he's beating a former heavyweight boxing world champion, certainly one of the best heavyweights of his generation, and of course, a man that is way bigger than Jake Paul. Of course, it's a win. And if he loses, it's still a win for Jake Paul because he had the balls. He was man enough. He was willing to test himself. He would prove everyone wrong, all his critics.
I mean, it's come out of the blue, but it's intriguing. And I think from Jake's perspective, I think, he's had a lot of criticism about he is a pro boxer now. The way you want to look at it, he trains as a pro, but, and he's fighting as a pro. They said it's about time he fought.
Joe Rogan and Tyson Fury talk about the possible matchup between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, and they both question why Joshua would make such a choice. They say it looks like Joshua and his team are focused more on the money side than real competition. Fury points out that if Joshua wants true heavyweight challenges, he should be fighting him or Deontay Wilder. According to them, choosing Jake Paul does not look like a competitive decision, it looks more like a business move.
This is a business at the end of the day. And if I was his management team, I'd say stay away from Fury, stay away from Wilder, and we'll just fight the rest of the people and keep making plenty of money. Why do we need...
Michael Bisping responds to the idea of Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua by focusing on one simple idea: Jake has nothing to lose. Bisping explains that Jake Paul has positioned himself in a way where winning would bring him unbelievable credit, and losing would still boost his image. If Jake somehow defeated Joshua, even if it happened by luck, he would instantly gain the respect people say he does not have. It would mean he beat a former unified heavyweight champion, something even top-level fighters struggled to do. But even if Jake failed, Bisping says the outcome still benefits him because stepping into the ring with a world-class heavyweight shows courage. Jake could present himself as bold, ambitious, and willing to take risks far outside his level. Bisping believes all the pressure falls on Joshua because if Joshua does not dominate, people will start questioning how serious he is as a top attraction in the sport.
On an island by myself, everyone says the same thing, and he would potentially prove all of those critics wrong. Well, yeah, he would, maybe, unless there's some funny business, right? And for Anthony Joshua, as I said, this is kind of a lose-lose, right? Because if he wins, people are still going to say, well, you only beat Jake Paul, right? The man that lost to Tommy Fury, after all, right? That's the only loss in his record, Tommy Fury. You're telling me that Tommy Fury's going to beat him, and then Anthony Joshua's not going to beat him? So if he beats him, he gets no credit. And if he loses, then holy can you imagine? That would be the biggest downfall of any boxer's career. The reality is, he's not going to lose. There is no way on this earth that Jake Paul can beat Anthony Joshua in a boxing match. That's just a fact, okay? Look at what he did to Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou hits as hard as a Ford Escort, going 100 miles an hour or whatever that stat was. Comes from the UFC. He was the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Has a good go against Tyson Fury, but goes up against Anthony Joshua and gets flatlined. Every single punch that was thrown was landed, and every punch that landed put Francis Ngannou down, okay? So to stand there and think that Jake Paul, who's much, much smaller, who has way less experience, that doesn't weigh anything near him, is going to have a chance, and not to mention the technical abilities. Let's just talk about that. Not to mention the technical abilities or experience. We're talking about an Olympic gold medalist, remember, from back in the day, who's then gone on to become a true British boxing icon, or a worldwide boxing icon, let's be honest, right? There's no way.
Joe Rogan points out that Anthony Joshua is an Olympic gold medalist and one of the most dangerous punchers of his generation. Rogan believes Joshua would enter the fight determined to send a strong message. He says Joshua would not be satisfied with simply winning, he would want to make Jake Paul understand what it means to challenge a real heavyweight champion. For Joshua, this matchup would be more about proving dominance than just earning another victory.
My God, if he beat Anthony Joshua, good Lord. Good Lord. I mean, that's a big if, right?
I mean,
Anthony Joshua,
I do not think,
Olympic gold
yes,
medalist, former heavyweight champion of the world. What he did to Francis Ngannou,
I
like,
know.
good Lord.
Yes.
Do you want that smoke?
Yeah, I just think it's all about the promotion or whatever. I have no idea what the actual motivation that fight's not competitive at all.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch fucking night-night guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great boxer.
Frank Warren gives a more skeptical and direct opinion. He says this whole conversation appeared out of nowhere and took everyone by surprise. In Warren's view, the signs clearly show that Jake Paul is the one pushing this fight. He believes Jake is tired of being criticized for choosing opponents who are smaller, older, or not from the boxing world. Every time Jake takes one of those fights, the criticism gets louder. Warren thinks Jake wants a matchup that finally shuts down those complaints, and facing Joshua is the quickest way to do that. Warren adds that most promoters never thought a proposal like this would come up, especially not from Jake's side. To him, the entire idea looks like a stunt. Still, he notes that Jake seems determined to show he is ready to test himself against a true heavyweight.
A fight I even thought of it. I mean, it's nothing to do with me to start with. I mean, it come out of the blue, but it's intriguing. And I think from Jake's perspective, I think, he's had a lot of criticism about, he is a pro boxer now. The way you want to look at it, he trains as a pro, but, and he's fighting as a pro. They said it's about time he fought some. I've seen some of the stuff, that been said. When's he going to fight someone? Well, he's gone from one extreme to the other. That's what he's doing. So if that fight happens, you've got to take your hat off to him.
He got called out by Andre Ward, AJ. Would you rather see Jake fight AJ, which is obviously, as we know, a mismatch, or Andre Ward, who's been retired for 4 years?
I'd much rather see AJ fight Tyson.
Oh, please. I dread to think how many times
we don't know if
we've
that's
done
going to
this.
happen because the big man, he's filming, he's not made his mind up what he's...
Ben Davidson looks at the situation from a much tougher point of view. When comparing Jake Paul's chances against Anthony Joshua, he goes back to Francis Ngannou's loss to Joshua. Davidson explains that Ngannou, a naturally bigger and much stronger heavyweight than Jake, could not withstand Joshua's power. He mentions how quickly Joshua stopped Ngannou and says that the gap between elite heavyweights and crossover fighters is simply too wide. If Ngannou, known for his massive power and size, could not stay stable against Joshua, then Davidson believes there is nothing to seriously discuss about Jake Paul's chances. Everyone already knows how such a fight would end. Davidson stresses that he is not trying to insult Jake, but wants to highlight how unrealistic the matchup is when judged by real heavyweight standards.
Fight like Francis Ngannou is one of the most durable men on the planet, and look at what happened there. I don't think he's good for boxing, if I'm honest.
I was about to ask, obviously, if we were to see that fight, AJ would be a heavy favourite with, I'd imagine, 99.9999% of the sport. How quickly would you expect to see Anthony Joshua get the job done against Jake Paul?
He could go in there and do what he wanted. He could play with him if he wanted to.
Spencer Oliver approaches the idea from a different angle during a discussion with other analysts. He believes the fight carries a symbolic meaning. Oliver says that if Joshua actually agreed to fight Jake Paul, it would be similar to the kind of bold, unexpected events that Muhammad Ali took part in during his time, matchups that drew massive interest from people outside the usual boxing audience. Oliver explains that this type of event could open new marketing opportunities and bring in millions of viewers who normally do not watch boxing. Even if the skill levels are not equal, the attention would still be massive. In Oliver's opinion, Joshua taking this kind of risk shows how the sport continues to change. He believes Joshua could reach younger fans who follow social media stars more than traditional boxers, helping him expand his global presence and grow his influence in the entertainment side of the sport.
He walks out of 150 million quid. No one will remember the fact he fought Jake Paul. They'll remember the fact he knocked Klitschko out in Wembley in 2017.
Totally agree with that.
So I'm kind of, whilst I don't like it, and I don't like the way that Jake Paul gravitates to these brilliant athletes and like a moth sucks the life out of them because he gets a benefit of association, because I think they deserve all the association. But he is a and there is opportunity there, isn't there?
Listen, commercially, of course it works because it'll be huge and there'll be a load of money on the table. For Anthony Joshua, it's like sort of, he's going to get rewarded very well with no risk, minimal risk, no risk at all. He's going to go in there and he may then put all this stuff to bed with Jake Paul and calling out all these different champions, etc., etc. So of course it works. And when you're talking about, you know, the credibility that Joshua's going to get, he's not going to get none now. But are people going to remember that? Of course they're not. Like when he goes on to do what he does, didn't Muhammad Ali have some sort of strange fight in the middle of his career? Didn't he box? Yeah, he did. He boxed some non-boxing guy and whatnot. Like, people don't remember that. That's what I'm saying. Look, us as boxers, we don't remember stuff like that.
It was replicated in Rocky.
So,
he did a version of Fighting Thunderlips, didn't he? So we all.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.